Missouri Western football is we're rolling now.
Missouri Western is 23 for the number 5 ranked team in the country, Fort Hays State Tigers, and just like that, the Griffons are 1-1. Good evening. Welcome to Griffon Sports Spotlight on News Press Now. I'm your host, Brandon Zenner, joined by second-year head coach Matt Williamson. Coach, it's got to be a great day to be able to talk some Missouri Western football.
It's a great day to be a Griff, I can tell you that. No, it was really exciting Thursday night. Great community support, great student support. It was just a really fun environment.
No, first win over a ranked opponent since 2013, first top 5 win since 2012. And like you said, you guys are rolling now, aren't you? Yeah,
we're feeling really good. And it was something that, I think from week 1 to week 2, and I told you as we talked earlier after last week, as I walked into the team room and I kind of looked at everybody in the eye, and just the way they were setting up their presentation, their body language, everything about them was like, Coach, we know we're good. We know we made mistakes. Keep giving us what you're giving us, and we're gonna take this to the next level. And they did, and it was really good to see as a institution and as our football program, and as the coaching staff. It was fun.
And I know we've talked. You guys have bigger goals in mind than just winning a week 2 game against a top 5 team. But how fondly are you going to remember this one? Kind of maybe serving as the catapult for what this program is capable of.
I can tell you what. I'll remember never to stand underneath the bell again directly, because that thing really will blow your ears off. Now, one thing I do remember is, it was just watching the kids on the sideline, just knowing that they've worked and all the time and extra things that they put in, knowing that they're reaping the rewards of it now. And that's just a good feeling, And the other thing, too, is that, Tyler Baska, it was a special place, got a little special place in my heart for him, is that, he was off our team last year. He decided to quit. He had a few concussions here and there and wasn't sure that he wanted to continue to play. He sat out for about 3 or 4 months and was really struggling, and talked with his parents and felt, hey, I want to come back. I miss my brothers. I miss my team. And he wanted to come back, and he did. And he came back, and he got Defensive Player of the Game, and just played his tail off. So that's something that, knowing that someone wants to be a part of this and was missing it already this early into my tenure, that was a good feeling.
Now, before you got to ring the bell, he did ring the bell for you guys. You guys put on quite the show. Let's go ahead and look at the highlights from a wild week 2 out at the Spratt. Home opener for you guys. You entered off that 28-6 loss to Northwest, hosting number 5 Fort Hays State. Griffons on the hunt for a huge upset. Your defensive backs were really after it early, weren't they?
Yeah, we're taking the ball away and tackling really well. We just got to continue. We're not letting people catch the ball, and we're tipping balls. We're taking away. That's one of the biggest things as a defense. You want to take the ball away.
And then when Brandon Dandridge, he's tipping balls, then he can also do this in the special teams game. Gets it down, and then Don Marino, he just feels the pocket collapse, and he senses that he can run this one.
Both those guys are great athletes. Just fun to watch. Just put the ball in their hands and just see what happens.
Now, Jamar Miles, he's also pretty special with the balls in his hands. It's the first of 2 interceptions on the night for him, 3 in all for the Griffs. Just 1 turnover for you guys. That comes from Donnell Hawkins. Now, that would turn into some offensive rhythm right here. Donnell Hawkins, he's going to cough the ball up, give Fort Hays State the ball back early on. And then Jacob Missouri, you kind of saw him get into a rhythm after that, leading up to the touchdown, didn't you?
Yeah, he did. It was good to see, obviously after that. But it just overall as a whole, the whole night was really on point, besides a couple things that we need to make corrections with. And it was fun to get in front of the community, just like that guy right there, and have a lot of fun.
And then perfect ending to a half there. Keep them off the scoreboard. You guys go into the half tied against the top 5 team, and Brandon Dandridge again making another play.
We started to bend a little.
Down Fort Hays, 32 yards rushing on 17 attempts. You got to love seeing that number right there.
Oh, as a defensive coordinator, if you're.
We're going to see here coming up in a second, but
I don't know. I still don't know how it happened. It happened so quick.
Right here,
just a low kick. The cameraman can't even keep up with it. It was so fast. He ended up catching it. Great hands, dives in, and puts us up even further. And that's what's great. The guys celebrating. There's not a lot of people just celebrating by themselves. You let you see nowadays. We've got a good chemistry, and it's going well.
Have you ever seen a play like that ever?
No.
And a 23-yard.
I've seen a bad kick like that, but I've never seen it just drill somebody in the chest, and then all of a sudden somehow he caught it. I don't know how he did, because the natural human's not going to be able to catch that. It just popped and must have just stuck there, perfect fit, and all of a sudden he just took off running with it. And I was like, before you knew, you didn't even know what was happening. Next you know, referees throwing up the touchdown, saying, "Oh yeah." So changing game, it was fun. It was really cool.
And then not to leave out Luke, but he also had a great night punting. He had one that was 58 yards, got them down inside their own 5-yard line, and he's off to a great start after having one bad punt up at Northwest. He's really turning it on.
Kicker dudes are doing well. That's what we call them, you know. And Tyler and Luke have done a really good job this year, and they have done a good job in the past as well. And besides Luke's little rugby kick that kind of put us behind a little bit, he came back on fire. And that's one thing. All these kids we're competitive everywhere, you know. And Tyler's one of the best kickers around, and Luke is a really talented punter. But we've got guys behind them that are pushing them, which it's making them better, and it's making our team better too. Because at any time, I feel 100% comfortable to put either one of them out there, and they can change the game. This guy can put Tyler can put points on the board, but then you also we can change the field position totally, and that making someone go 80 instead of 50 or 60 is a huge percentage-wise of them scoring is tough.
Absolutely. Now, last year you guys went 4-7. All 4 of those wins came against teams that finished in the bottom 4, but now you beat a top 5 team. You guys finished this game. What can a win like this just do for the psyche, the mentality of this program going forward? Well,
all I wanted to do is I wanted to just be like a little pat on the back, like you're heading in the right direction, you're doing the right things, and give them confidence knowing that they still have to continue to do those things, because if you get too high, you're going to tank at some point, and we don't want to do that here at Missouri Western. We want to keep it consistent and win every single year, have a chance to compete in every single game, and that's the mindset that we have to walk out with our kids, and I know they'll do that as we get ready to prepare, for Central Missouri this week.
What's it say about where this team is and kind of this conference? I think it's going to be a really balanced conference standings race this year.
I think you're pretty close with that. And as we haven't watched everybody on film, but there's a lot of talent, and everybody is pretty close, almost on the same page. And I didn't feel good last year, walking out with the team that we had. I thought we didn't look as big, didn't look as strong, didn't look as physical. We didn't look right. We're starting to look a little bit better. I'm still not to where we want to be, but we're going to continue to go there. And Coach Carbon, our strength coach, and Coach Reed have done a good job preparing those guys in the off-season and in this summer.
Now, you guys hit the road first Saturday game. That's what college football feels like Saturdays now. Central Missouri, they're 1-1, ranked 20th in the country. They lost to Fort Hays, who you guys just beat. They beat Northeastern State last week big, 62-10. I know this is one you guys want back. Last year, 15 total touchdowns in this game, 4 field goals, a safety, a fumble recovery in the end zone. You lost 66-44, 4-6 turnovers. I mean, this is one you guys really want this one back, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. It was a bad. Offensively, we played really well. Defensively, we didn't play well at all. Gave up a lot of big plays, and Coach Sabota and his offensive staff, they do a really good job, and they've got a lot of talent. I mean, they've got 2 really good running backs. They got 2 or 3 really talented receivers. Their O-line's back. Quarterback is not back. He got injured, but the 2 that they got can throw it as well too. Watching them play against Northeastern the other day, they can play. They can make things happen, and they can score points, and that's what we have to do. We got a huge challenge, probably the biggest challenge on defense so far this year. I think they're both of the Central Missouri's offense all around is more talented than the last 2 teams we played.
No, last year I know whenever I talked to you after the game, it was a lot of people not filling the right gaps and letting big plays just go off in that second half. For you personally, how much do you want this one back to kind of show where this defense is at and kind of how you guys have been able to coach them up since then?
Yeah, we try not to talk about the past too much because it's a totally different team. Obviously, just a performance, giving up that many points, that many yards, to anybody, it's just not good, But what you always look for is you always recalculate and you go back and you're like, okay, where are you at from this point last year to this point? And putting on last year's film and watching it, it was like, man, there's no question we're better. And we're going to continue to get better because we still are young. We still have a lot of things that we still want to input and do. So we're going to continue to grow. But we try not just as a whole. the past is past. We can't control anything from that. We're going to go out and play the way we played the last couple weeks and have a lot of fun.
Now, this year's UCM team, they lost their starting quarterback, Brooke Bowles. He was a potential All-American, All-MIAA MVP candidate. What do you see in this offense? What's the key for your defense this week?
We got to stop the run. They've got, they're two really talented running backs, and I thought we did really well against Fort Hays running back, but these guys are electric and they're fast and they make plays, and they've got a couple really talented receivers that kind of took advantage of us last week with the exact same defensive back. So I think those guys might be a little bit hungry to have a better showing than we did last year. But we got to stop the run game. If we can stop that and get into two quarterbacks that haven't played a lot to make them throw it a whole bunch like Fort Hays did last week, then we can get them out of their comfort zone. That's what we're looking to do.
Now, how about their defense? They've only given up 30 points over their first 2 weeks, albeit Northeastern State going to be another team that likely struggles this year, but still 30 points in 2 weeks. What do you see from their defense?
Well, they're a lot different than they were last year. I mean, it's still a 3 down, which kind of causes a little it's something different. A lot of teams run 4 downs. So you have to learn kind of a whole new defense. As an offense, you've got to protect and do your protections and all those different things like that change. But they played a lot of man last year and gave up a lot of touchdowns and struggle. They're playing a lot more zone this year, which keeps people on top and in front. And they've been able to stop the run. So we've got a huge challenge up there front. They've got some really good defensive linemen. They're young and they're getting better. And we just gotta look for our advantages and to where we can get them outnumbered or do different things to have success, and I think we will.
Now, kickoff set for 1 p.m. Saturday. Walton Stadium in Warrensburg, a pair of 1-1 teams in Central Missouri. Watching now. Just coming up after this break, I'm going to be joined by Tyler Bash. Real quick, tell me a little bit about him and kind of what he means to this football team.
Well, just it was exciting getting him back. We didn't think we had another year with him, and I knew he was pumped when we told him that he had the opportunity, but man, he can just kick the ball. It's fun to watch him. He'll sit in the locker room and dribble a soccer ball on his foot for like 20 minutes straight. It's crazy. He's just really talented. He can kick the ball, and he's a level-headed. Some are a little bit different. This guy's he's straight as an arrow, and that's why he's had so much success. So I love watching him. I have no issue putting him out on the field anywhere, anytime. Get him kick a field goal.
Now, I know you don't like to see your kickers kicking because you want to get in the end zone, but not a bad one to have doing it for you. Now, thanks for joining me this week, Coach. Whenever we return, Tyler Bash joins me. We'll talk about that huge win last week, how he's handling his senior year, and get to know him a little bit outside of the lines. You're watching Griffon Sports Spotlight on News Press Now.
Everything that kept us paralyzed was nothing but a bad dream. One day we're gonna wake up. Was nothing but a bad dream. I don't want you. Touchdown! This is as good as it gets. I don't want you. Mercy.
Here at Rogers Pharmacy, all of our prescription labels now have a square box called a QR code. You can scan it with a smartphone to watch a video about your medication, which will include information like potential side effects. You can set up reminders to take your meds or to get them refilled. You can even contact us directly. We're excited to use this technology to make information about your medications available at any time at the click of a button. Our pharmacists are always here to answer your questions and to help you use your medications properly.
Green flag in the air, we're underway. This season.
Oh, what a great move right there.
40 drivers.
Here they come.
He's got it righted. Compete.
Oh, it's a risky move right here. Contact.
Oh, wrecking behind them. And decide.
Unbelievable finish.
Who will rise to the top?
How about that?
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Your customers are already online. You should be too. Let the experts at News Press Media Group develop your digital advertising strategy. Be first in Google searches, appear in social media feeds, generate brand recognition, keep your customers engaged with videos, contests, and email blasts. Even target potential customers who are already searching for you, all with detailed analytics to help us determine the perfect advertising strategy for you. Put the World Wide Web to work. Contact the digital experts at News Press Media Group today.
Welcome back into Griffon Sports Spotlight on News Press. I'm now joined by Missouri Western senior kicker Tyler Bash. The kickers really don't get a lot of publicity, but we don't believe in that here at News Press now, Tyler.
I love it. I love it.
Now, Tyler, it's been a long road for you. You had 2 years at Wayne State, battled through some injuries. Now, kind of just take me through your journey in college and how we got to here at your senior year at Missouri Western.
It's been crazy. So I redshirted my freshman year at Wayne State College. I backed up Max Martin, great All-American kicker from there. And then I started as a freshman. Freshman year, I went 9 for 13. And Wayne just wasn't really the school for me. I really wasn't a fan of how it was going. So I went home, went back to Omaha, tried to find a school, and try another football team to get onto. So that's when I found Missouri Western. About a year later, walked on with Coach Partridge. And then he left. Coach Willie came in, and I started from there. After I tore my groin, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I that medical year, too.
That year you were away from football, what did that do for you?
It taught me a lot. You know, I realized that the adult world really I wasn't ready for it yet. I wanted to go back and play some football. And I missed the team. I mean, I've been playing sports my entire life, and you know, that year off, I was just itching to be a part of something and something bigger than myself. And my dad called me actually and said, "Hey, Missouri Western's got an indoor facility. They've got a great school. I think you should give them a call." So I shout out to Dad. That's why I'm here.
Mike Bash.
Yeah.
Now, you also, along with stepping away from the game, you've gone through some injuries. You said groin injury kept you out a year, got a medical red shirt, and then late last year, you also had to battle through something coming into this year. I guess just talk to me about battling back from those injuries and how all that's gone.
Yeah, you know, luckily Blaze tells me all the time that I recover pretty quickly, so I'm fortunate for that. But, you know, that torn groin, very tough. I tore it in the second game, was out for the rest of the season, so I had to take the medical, and then last year was tough. I mean, I played like the last 6 games with a torn labrum, so I was constantly just fighting through that and knew that as soon as the season was over, I was going to be having to get that surgery, so.
Now, you're from Nebraska. Another former Griffon kicker, maybe you've heard of him, Greg Zerline. He's also from Nebraska. Greg the Leg.
Yeah.
He's gone on to have an all-pro career. How did you look up to him being a kicker from that area, and kind of how do people in Nebraska just view him and everything that he's been able to have with all of his success?
Oh, he's loved. He's definitely loved. I think maybe a little bit more if he would have been a Husker, but that's probably the only thing that's keeping him back.
So he's loved as much as Scott Frost?
Oh, probably not. That guy's an idol. He's idolized in Nebraska, I tell you, man. No, it's funny because I actually had his high school kicking coach was my coach. So I heard all about him, was constantly compared to things that he's doing, and, you know, here's what he's doing wrong. Let's see if it can help you in this aspect. And so I was very fortunate to kind of follow behind him. Almost went to UNO, which where he was at, so I kind of been right behind him this whole way.
Until they got rid of their football program.
Right, yeah, and then I had to go to Wayne.
Now, you've been around this program for quite some time under both regimes. Being around the guys this year, how does it feel different, especially coming off of a victory like you guys just had last week where you knock off one of the best teams in the country?
We're hungry, more than I've ever seen, more than any team I've ever been a part of. I can't tell you how great of a feeling it is to be a part of this year's football team. I mean, that win last week, I was talking to Markel Fluker and Husky, actually, and we were all talking, and I said, you know, I think this is just a taste. I think we're all hungry, and I think that this win that we just got is just a little taste of how this season's going to go, and you know, as long as we stay hungry and we keep fighting for that taste, it'll keep coming.
Now, we're going to play the first installment of what I am calling Get to Know a Griff. You've got 30 seconds to answer as many questions as you can. Just say the first thing that comes to your mind. Let's go ahead. Let's start the music. Your favorite candy?
Reese's.
Best show on Netflix?
Office.
What are you doing when you're... Oh, good choice. What are you not doing when you're playing football?
Probably playing video games and watching The Office.
What video game?
Fortnite, every once in a while.
Of course.
Yeah, right.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Favorite flavor ice cream?
Oreo.
Pre-game music?
Ooh, the Lonesome Kicker. You haven't heard it, Adam Sandler.
Favorite sport outside of football?
Soccer.
Pancakes, waffles?
Waffles.
Worst MIAA bus ride?
I haven't taken it yet, but I know it's going to be to Kearney.
That's not even the longest one. But
I know it.
That's probably true.
I know it.
Now, we're going to take one last break real quick. Whenever we return, Tyler and I talk more about the big matchup coming this week and his last season in black and gold. You're watching Griffon Sports Spotlight on Fox 26, KNPN.
Colton, can you spell the word yes, please? That's not how you spell yes.
AIS spells yes.
Back to school means back to early mornings, getting the kids up and ready to go. We start our day even earlier so we can get you the information you need. We track the weather so you'll know what to wear and how to plan your day. Tune in to Morning Edition for everything you need to know to get your day started.
Here come the Irish. The Fighting Irish continue their march onward to victory. Vanderbilt. Looking deep. Touchdown. Notre Dame. Ringbush. Yes! Touchdown Irish. Incredible grab.
We are living in the moment of history right now.
Vanderbilt. Notre Dame. Saturday on NBC.
Hey. Higgins. Nice dog. Heel. Not today, boys.
The intensity and the energy and the spirit of this Griffon football team, and it's going to continue to grow and become more and more powerful.
Welcome back into Griffon Sports Spotlight on Fox 26 Campion. We're going to wrap up real quick here with senior kicker Tyler Bash. Now, Tyler, you're going into a game at UCM, a game you had a lot of success in last year, probably one of your fondly remembered games. I guess just this big matchup, you can start 2-1 against 3 really good teams.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited. I feel like we have something against UCM, and it's going to come back full circle this season. We're going to go in, and as hungry as we are, I think we're going to take it.
Now, one of those, you were second team All-MIAA last year, and then one of the kicks I'll remember most from you was that kick to end the half. How much you want to just get right this week?
Oh, very badly. That's Dom and I talk about it. Dom the Holder, he talks about it all the time.
Dom the Holder.
Yeah, the Holder, not the quarterback. Dom the Holder. I love that. Right before that kick, the crowd's loud. He looks at me, he smiles, and I looked at him and I said, "Man, I love this." And then we kicked it, and we were on the field talking. It was a cool feeling.
All right, thanks for joining us this week, Tyler. We'll talk again next week. Look back at this UCM. Now, for now, we'll leave you with more sights and sound from Thursday's historic win at the Spread.
Take it out.